If civilization collapsed, could you rebuild it?
Imagine waking up in a world where modern civilization has collapsed. No electricity, no supermarkets, no internet. In such a scenario, how would we rebuild? Lewis Dartnell's The Knowledge.
No civilization whatsoever, no electricity, no Wi-Fi. How would you rebuild? I feel like we'd be stuck in the Stone Ages for like a very, or not the Stone Ages, but like that in-between stage. It would be like we're back into the 1600s, dude. If you wouldn't be, because the average person's not going to be able to figure out how to fucking make electricity or do any of that. And you wouldn't even have enough people to be able to foster that level of, I could fix it. No, you couldn't. You would be able to survive, but you wouldn't be able to fix society. I think the coolest idea for an apocalypse. Have you guys ever heard of the show Last Man on Earth? I didn't watch the whole show, but the concept is really cool. It ends up being weird where there's like a bunch of people actually, and it's not just one guy. The premise of the show is that like he wakes up and he's just like the only guy left. Like, what would you do if you woke up tomorrow and everyone was gone? Not dead, like disappeared. Like that one SpongeBob episode where the town left and nobody told him. Like no one like you were just the only person left. There's other animals, but you're the only human. Like your dog's still there, but all the people are gone. I would go to a dispensary. You know what I would do? Well, I mean, yeah, you'd probably cry, be confused. Honestly, I think for the first week is what he does in the show too. For the first week, you're probably going to go like look, at least how I remember it. I watched it so long ago, so I might be dead wrong. But the first week, you're probably going to like drive around, you know, look for people, be like, where the fuck is everyone? Because you would be shocked, like especially if like you were using your phone, because for a brief moment, everything would still work.
Offers a roadmap to reconstructing society from the ground up. So let's dive into the 7 essential steps to reboot civilization. And if this kind of idea sounds familiar, it might be because I made a video about how useless most of us would be if we were dropped into the distant past.
We watched that. That video was fire.
About a month ago. I thought this one is a sequel of sorts. Also, I want to clarify right now that what I mean is essentially think of a global catastrophe, essentially post-apocalyptic.
So any sort of apocalypse where it's happened post-apocalyptic, society, it's settled down, but you have to rebuild slowly. What would be the easiest apocalypse to survive? Probably like, I don't know if this would be an apocalypse, but like a sun flare just knocking out all electricity everywhere. The Walking Dead. The Walking Dead, I think, would be fairly easy to survive. I don't like how they die so easily. I think the biggest concern, and they show it in the show, the biggest concern in The Walking Dead isn't the zombies, it's other people. Because now there's no government, and so people can do whatever they want, and people are evil. But, like, I think there would be some level of civilization. You know what I mean? Like, I have some hope for humans that, like, the majority of people would probably be somewhat reasonable and not savages. But there would be war and killing people and shit like that. But I think the zombie apocalypse in general, like, Walking Dead zombies, not scary at all, bro. Oh, my God. They walk 2 miles an hour and go, like, it's not like World War Z where they're sprinting at you. Literally just fucking walk away from them at a moderate pace, and you can't be cornered.
Apocalyptic, in a sense. That is the type of world from which we're going to try and rebuild society from. So the immediate first step would be to prioritize shelter, warmth, and water. In the immediate aftermath of a catastrophe, securing shelter is key. Exposure.
Where are y'all going? Where y'all going? Depends on the type of apocalypse. If it's a zombie apocalypse, I kind of want to try and immediately go to some sort of island of sorts. Or even, what's it called where it's not an island necessarily, but it's like attached by bridges? A peninsula? No. It's like an island, but there's bridges to it. Is that a peninsula? Go there. You know, where the only way to get in or out outside of water is by a bridge. Just block that off. You know, yeah, archipelago, I don't fucking know. Whatever it's called. Like an area that's like near the mainland, but not really like an island where it's just only accessible by boat. Somewhere like that. I think a lot of people are like, oh, I'd post up at a school or a prison or a Walmart. I feel like those are going to be overcrowded. You would want to pick somewhere that's like more niche.
Exposure to the elements can be as deadly as any other threat. You want to seek out existing structures that can be repurposed. but always assess their stability. And if none are available, constructing a basic shelter using natural materials like wood, leaves, and mud can provide the necessary protection that you would need to survive in this environment.
I mean, yeah, if there's like a nuclear bomb that drops, you're a bum-ass motherfucker, though, if you're gonna go live in the woods when the apocalypse happens if there's still structural homes intact. Like, what are you doing? Like, a sun flare hits and the world just collapses and you're like, well, I gotta go live in the woods now and make a mud hut.
Warmth is
Like, what?
critical, especially in colder climates. So learn to
Yeah, if there's a nuke, I'm dead. But they're saying it's somehow you survive.
build efficient fires using available resources. Understanding insulation techniques such as using layers of clothing or creating wind.
My mentality for the fire is I'm either finding flint and steel or a lighter, and when that's out, like say I run out of that, if the fire runs out, I die. That's how I'm perceiving it. Like I'm churning that fire forever. Like how the natives, the indigenous people in oh my god, I always forget the name of them. They killed the Bible preacher. We don't know their language. They lived on the same island under Sri Lanka forever, North Sentinel Island. Just like the North Sentinelese, the lightning will strike fire, and then they'll just tend that fire. That's what I would do. I would just be like, once fire strikes or happens, I will just never let it go out.
Breaks can really help retain body heat. And of course, water is crucial for survival, so natural sources like rivers and lakes might be contaminated, so boiling water is the reliable method to killing pathogens. Additionally, constructing simple filtration systems using sand, charcoal, and gravel would help.
Yeah, obviously. Just a simple filtration system.
Step 2 is to scavenge wisely and initiate farming. Initially, scavenging available resources like canned goods, tools, and seeds would be able to sustain you.
Sardines.
That's a temporary solution. Transitioning to agriculture ensures long-term food security. Understanding soil types, crop rotation, and irrigation techniques will be fundamental in establishing a reliable food source.
Bro, I'm just going to go back to salting foods. That's what I would resort to. Some level of fucking farming, and then I would just kill a lot of animals and salt them, and then bury them underground.
Start by identifying fast-growing,
barrels.
High-yield crops suitable for your environment. Think beans, potatoes, and leafy greens as good options. Save seed.
Where are you going to get the salt? Morton's factory. I'm going to go on a map. I'm going to look up where Morton's salt comes from. And then I'm going to go to the Morton's salt factory and I'm going to take it all. Honestly, no. I'm just going to pull up to a Walmart, bro. I'm going to pull up to a grocery store. And I really don't think that the average person that would loot a grocery store would think about taking the tubs of salt. I would just gather salt. A lot of salt. So much salt. Yeah? Really? Yeah, because you're not going to be able to... If you don't have electricity, you're not going to be able to freeze goods if it's not the winter. Like, if you live in a northern area where it's freezing all the time, that's different. But salt's so useful. You need salt to survive, and it just preserves goods.
And composting organic waste can enrich the soil, promoting better crop growth. Step 3 is to commit to intensive farming practices. Farming is labor-intensive and requires dedication. Selecting appropriate crops for the climate, managing pests, and ensuring soil fertility are continuous tasks. Like I said before, implementing composting and natural fertilizers can enhance the...
Yeah, I'll start pooping on my own tomatoes. Yep. I already got that down. That's already in the fucking knowledge bin. I know how manure works.
Yield. And over time, mastering these practices will be able to lead to
getting a lot of, what are those? Those are cucumbers.
A surplus in production, allowing for trade and community growth. I think it's also important to consider diversifying.
Or I just become like a looter of sorts. And I don't rebuild. Well, he's saying you have to rebuild society. In my mind, I could just be like, let me just scavenge. In all honesty, I'm not rebuilding society. Okay? So let's just get that out of the way. If I, for some reason, need to rebuild society, yeah, this is what I might do. If the fucking apocalypse starts and shit hits the fan, I'm just going to ride it out as long as possible. You know what I mean? Like, you're just going to be looting for shit, and at some point, it's like, I haven't found food in 3 weeks. I'm going to die.
Your crops to prevent soil depletion and reduce the risk of total crop failure. You want to incorporate livestock if possible, since animals can provide meat, milk, and labor. A successful farm requires constant attention and adaptation to changing conditions.
Get rabbits, because they just fuck. I would, right before the apocalypse hits, I would take a fucking plane to Australia and I would let them run loose. I would let them fucking re-inhabit without the viruses that they spread to fix their population. I would let the rabbits just ravage the land. And then there would be too many fucking rabbits. And then I would just eat all the rabbits.
Step 4 is to develop reliable heat energy source.
How would you know it's finna hit? A feeling. I would get a palm reading.
Beyond basic warmth, heat energy is essential for cooking, sterilization, and industrial processes. Constructing efficient stoves and kilns can aid these tasks. Exploring renewable energy sources like solar or wind can provide sustainable power solutions.
I'll just ask Jay Schlatt, because he has pretty solid predictions. He predicted when the queen would die and shit. I would just be like, yeah, when do you think the world's gonna end? And then I would just move right there with a fucking cage of rabbits with me.
Understanding and harnessing these energies will be pivotal in advancing technological capabilities. Wood gas.
Nah, real talk, just make your way to Iceland. You'll be chilling, bro. Oh my god. Oh my god. They're like, their country can just like function on their own. I know I glaze the shit out of them all the time, dude. They just constantly have geothermal energy. They have an endless amount of geothermal energy. They function on their own. They have a really high wealth per capita. They would probably be largely unaffected by any sort of apocalypse outside of like nuclear warfare. And it's really cold environment, but they have greenhouses. They already have everything in place. They basically already live in an apocalypse. They've made uninhabitable land inhabitable and successful.
Vacation is a method where wood is converted into combustible gas, which can power engines. During World War II, over 1 million vehicles in Europe
just moved to Iceland. I'm thinking about it, Sketty. Fuck you.
Ran on.
That would be bad for stream hours. Realistically, I should move west.
Wood gas.
Living in Hawaii would be fire for streaming. I could just stream at like 10 a.m. Not have to go live at like 5 p.m. I don't understand how Queso and those streamers go live at like 11 at night. Oh.
Due to fuel shortages. Learning such techniques can be invaluable in a post-apocalyptic world.
Stay in EST? Brother, I would still stream EST. I'm not moving to Iceland.
Step 5 is to maintain rigorous hygiene standards. Preventing disease outbreaks hinges on cleanliness. Regular hand washing, waste disposal, and clean living environments are non-negotiable. Producing soap from animal fats and ash is a simple yet effective method. And educating the community on hygiene practices.
Bro, I'm just gonna be stench maxing in a goddamn apocalypse. I'm not making fucking soap bars out of fucking cow fat.
Will safeguard health.
I'm just gonna fucking go dunk my body into a pond every now and again.
And ensure social stability. You want to construct latrines away from water sources to prevent contamination. Boil or filter drinking water to eliminate pathogens, like I mentioned earlier. And you want to also encourage practices like regular bathing and cleaning of living spaces to reduce the spread of illness. And maybe also because nobody wants to live in a musty world. Step 6 is to provide effective medical care with basic technology. While advanced medical equipment may be unavailable, basic healthcare is achievable.
I would bring back bloodletting. I would revert back. I would revert back to like the 4 liquids that they believed your body. I'd be like, oh, you have too much phlegm. You have too much phlegm. I think I'm gonna need to drill a hole in your skull. Yeah. Ooh, you don't feel so good? Okay. I'm gonna take a railroad spike and I'm just gonna hit you in the head with it and see if that fixes it.
Herbal remedies, wound care, and sanitation.
We're gonna bring back lobotomies. No.
Address common ailments. Training individuals in first aid and establishing protocols for emergencies will be life-saving. Over time, rebuilding medical knowledge and infrastructure will enhance community resilience. Ideally, you would create a...
How are they going to know how to give CPR without the Staying Alive song, though, to tell them how the pacing is? New generations wouldn't have access to music on, like, an MP3 player. So they're not going to know the beat of, staying alive, staying alive. It would be word of mouth, and then the rate would get fucked up.
Stockpile of medicinal plants known for their healing properties. Learn to identify and prepare.
Sing to them? I don't know the whole song, though. They need to get the whole they need to understand the whole premise of the song to understand the beat.
Prepare these remedies safely. Establish a clean area for treating injuries and isolate those who are ill to prevent the spread of illness. You know, quarantining. And step number 7 is to reconstruct timekeeping methods. Timekeeping is crucial for agriculture, coordination,
I'm going back to the sundial.
and societal organization. Observing celestial patterns can aid in developing calendars. Constructing sundials or water clocks can provide
I'm already ready. I'm already ready. Need one no damn water clock. I'm getting a fucking sundial.
daily time measurement. Reestablishing a sense of time will bring structure and predictability to daily life. Understanding the seasons helps
Bro's gonna bring back asking the sun for blessings. Yeah, I'm gonna start sacrificing people so the sun rises.
in planning agricultural activities. Regular timekeeping allows for scheduling tasks, meetings, and rituals, and it also fosters a sense of normalcy and order within the community. Now, if I could add one step to this, that step would be to add communication technologies. So while Dardanel's 7 steps provide a solid foundation for rebuilding civilization, reestablishing communication is
Brother, I'm not gonna read The Knowledge by Lewis Dartnell. I'm freeballing the fucking apocalypse collapse. You know, like I how to rebuild civilization in the aftermath of a cataclysm. I'm not reading that.
reestablishing communication is equally vital in my opinion. Effective communication enables coordination, information sharing, and the reformation of social structures. Assuming there's an absence of a lot of modern infrastructure, simple communication methods can be invaluable. For instance, Morse
I would give the next generation a book of fictitious books and tell them that's our historical knowledge. If the apocalypse happened, I would get rid of all of history and I would just hand them like one book and be like, this is what the world was like. What book would it be? Star Wars? No, I'm not giving them Star Wars. Hunger Games? No, that would be too real. That'd be too believable. That would be too close to modern day. Game of Thrones, Harry Potter, the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. What I would say, Voldemort won. I would give them Harry Potter, but rip out specific pages and mend the story in a way that it looks like everybody just died in the end. Maze Runner, Diary of a Wimpy Kid. No, The Cheese Touch got everybody dead. AOT. Oh my God, no, that would be fucked up. AOT. I make them read the AOT manga and tell them that there's fucking titans that roam the earth and we're living very far away from them and at some point they may attack at any moment.
code, which represents letters and numbers through combinations of dots and dashes, can be used to transmit messages over long distances using basic equipment. Constructing a rudimentary telegraph system with scavenged materials allows for the sending and receiving of messages, facilitating coordination among the survivors. Additionally, building a crystal radio, a simple receiver that requires no external power source, can allow you to pick up AM broadcast signals. In a collapsed society, this could be critical for receiving weather alerts, survivor communications, or emergency messages. In fact, similar foxhole radios were built by soldiers during World War II using blue razor blades and graphite to create functioning receivers. Even with limited
I mean, bro, I'm dead banking on me just finding somebody smart enough to know this shit. Like, that's really how it would be. I'd be like, I'm going to find some whiz in the first 2 weeks of the apocalypse, and I'll just be attached at the hip to him and be like, you are the knowledge that we need. If you die, we all die.
tools, guides exist showing how to replicate these
Dr.
designs.
Stone type shit.
I guess
Yeah, literally, if he dies, everybody's fucked.
they wouldn't be as accessible in that scenario, but it's the fact that they are even made that show the simplicity of this technology. Overall, reestablishing communication networks not only aids in immediate survival, but also lays the groundwork for rebuilding societal structures. By sharing knowledge, coordinated efforts, and fostering a sense of community, communication technology plays a pivotal role in the resurgence of civilization. It's literally what makes humans better than every other animal on this planet. Our ability to share knowledge through our language and be able to teach our kin, it is second to none, but I digress. But yeah, rebuilding civilization is a monumental task, but with knowledge, resourcefulness, and collaboration, it's achievable. Lewis Dartnell's The Knowledge serves as a guide, illuminating the path forward. By understanding and applying
God, I really got to read me up some Lewis Dartnell, How to Rebuild Civilization in the Aftermath of a Cataclysm.
By
He's really selling this book on me.
understanding and applying these principles, humanity can rise from the ashes and forge a new thriving society. For a deeper dive
With
into
Lewis Dartnell's What to Do in an Apocalypse Cataclysm, I am now fully confident that I'm prepared for an apocalypse.
this topic, I suggest exploring the knowledge how to rebuild.
Yeah, I would also recommend learning how the knowledge how to rebuild our world after an apocalypse cataclysm by Lewis Dartnell.
Our World from Scratch by Lewis Dartnell.
Yeah.
If you guys have any other suggestions to add on, please write them down in the comments below. I'm curious what you guys have to say about this. And yeah, please like, comment, and subscribe.
You know, I'm just kind of like wondering what your thoughts on like page 34 of Lewis Dartnell's What to Do During an Apocalypse Cataclysm, how to survive during a societal collapse in an apocalypse cataclysm. What do you think about page 55, line 3? One more video? No, we're going to call that there, chat. That was a W fucking stream, though.